Welcome to Building with Stretch. I am working on several different Raspberry Pi projects right now. I got the new uh, AI Hat 2 inside this CanaKit case. I've got a few other things going on, but right now what I am working on is this Rover, and I need to make another one of these cables. And I finally got into a good groove of making these cables, so I'm going to just go ahead and walk through. I've already picked out 6 out of this kit right here. I'm also going to need to have a 6-pin header there. Then I'm going to use 6 of these. 1, 2, 6. And I have already broken off 6 of these, which will be used with, inserting these cables into there. All right, so this is an example one already. I want to make another one. Set that one off to the side. We'll use that as our template. The trickiest thing about these right here is the standard size. Well, for one, I'm having to use 2 different kits to combine to make the cables I want. I've tried using these cables, these ones over here in this box. These work too, but they're just a little bit thicker. I don't need that gauge of wire. So what I found is what I need to do to help make this a little easier on me is just trim a tiny bit more of that sleeve off very delicately. I want to maintain that tip. Having that tip that's already soldered together is super helpful when it comes to inserting into these little itty bitty metal pieces. Right, so I'm going to slide it all the way in until it can't really go anymore. So it should seem relatively stable. And then I'm going to flip it around, hold it like this. I'm going to use these tweezers right here. I found these tweezers to be very helpful at bending these parts of the that adapter there, that connector there. Ideally, if I can round it a bit. And now I have to get these 2 spiky ones. Oh no. Well, that wasn't in there very good, I guess. Let's see, maybe it'll just slip right back since it didn't go well. All right. Let's use my thumbnail this time to get that down there. Flip it around this way with my thumbnail pressing against it. Let's see if we can get a little bit better clamp down on that side. Okay, much better. So now we can see that is fully sealed, clamped together. Now the super tricky part, these teeth need to go in a way that they don't overlap. They're offset a little bit already. So what I'm doing is just going to either side of the cable and then start massaging that piece of metal to curve it. I need to do the same on the other side. I find it's easier for me when the part that I'm trying to bend, if I use my thumb, I have a little bit finer grain control over how it bends. All right, so there we go. We've got that clamped around the sleeve or shield there. That one actually looks really good. We might have to tap this one down just a little bit for height clearance. Let's see. All right, let's do the test. All right, so now this, there's 2 ends of it. One has a smaller opening than the other. I'm going to be using the larger opening, and I'm going to have this open area here that I've been working with facing the same direction as this hole, and this little piece of plastic here will eventually clip down onto that open groove on the cable there, on the connector. As long as we can push that in. All right, yep, that's a little bit too high. I should not see hardly any of that metal there, so probably need to lower it a little bit more, squeeze it together a little bit more. All right, and there we go. You'll notice a little clipping or clicking kind of noise when it sets in place. So that one looks pretty good. And then this next piece is super easy. This side's already done for us. There's a little bit of a raised kind of almost like a fin there. That is going to go, if you flip this around, you'll see there's an arched on top. That fin will go in the arched way, and just so that we are going right there. So 1, 2, 3. Yep, so 1, 2, 3. So third one in right there will be my green. Don't know why I started with green. It was just there. And there we go. So eventually, this is going to, on our driver board here, basically, it'll end up connected to our GPIO pins on our header on the Raspberry Pi, so that it can control each of the motors for each one of these wheels, so we can have 4-wheel drive. Let's keep moving on. All right. More. Okay. Let's see. Just go ahead and create all of these. Just taking a little bit of that shield off, casing off. Get another one of these. Slide that in like so. This time we'll keep thumbnail clamp down on that while I get this side clamped in. Okay, there's that. Now let's go ahead and these little teeth here, they are sharp. We want to bend them around the cable. Okay, now there's probably a tool that will make this way easier. I don't have that tool. If you have the tool, if you have a different tool you like to use, put in the comments. Share with us which ones have been the best or worst for you to use. All right, that is looking okay. A little bit, a little thinner. All right. Sliding in number 2. Oh, yep, that one. A little tall. Okay, so let's take that. And that. There we go. And we got it. All right. Let's get another one going. I think what I'll do, we'll do assembly line style. Let's strip the rest of these. Just a tiny bit. We don't need that much more. All right. I have tried using this stripping part right here, but because of how thin these wires are and how thin the shield is on it, when it clamps down, it actually strips it in two different areas, which is not what we want. That one stripped. That one stripped. And last one. Oh, second to last one. Forgot about our black cable. Did we already do that? We'll see how that goes. Let's try out the black cable first, just in case. Yeah, I want to do a little bit more than that. All right. Better. Tweezers. Try and round that out a little bit. All right, that's clamped in there. Now let's get this. Let's roll this. Okay. I'm going to roll the other side now. There we go. All right, let's see how that goes. I heard it clip, but I still see this little bit of metal that I don't want to see that much of it. So clamp that down a little bit more. Well, that'll have to do. All right. Another one of these set. First set. All right, that one's clamped. Now these other little ones. So there's really 4 pieces of metal that I'm trying to manipulate, and it's pretty small. You might have a lot better luck if you have smaller hands. All right, let's see if that one fits. I'm not just moving on and doing each other one of these because this is it takes a little bit of finessing to get that final part done, at least for the method that I'm using. Let's see. So what I'll do is I'll look there and I can see that there's just a tiny piece of that metal right there. I might be able to get that down with just my nail. There we go. Yep. Sometimes just the nail do the trick. All right. I feel like I've been having pretty good success by putting the connector in my left hand and the wire in my right hand, using my left thumb to keep them together. And I'm right-handed, so that's why I have a little bit easier time working with the tool, grounding it out the way I want to when I use the tweezers in my right hand. I've tried different variations of using this tool to do it, like some of these little notches here, and crimping down, but they really just don't do the trick. All right, that part is clipped. Now the other two. Okay, there's one. Let's get this other one done now. Admittedly, when I flip the cable around like that, it does make things a little tricky sometimes, holding on to it. All right. Let's see. Let's see how that does. There we go. That one went in really, really easily. Last one. So my end goal is to have this Rover powered by it's actually a Raspberry Pi 02 W. And so we'll see how well that quad core ARM processor does with only that little bit of power that it provides. But I've put it's basically, I think, a Raspberry Pi 3 adapter in there too, just so I can get more USB ports, an Ethernet port, so I could do more things later on. Experimenting with, I've got a camera attached to it right now too, so it can be, go on patrol, and I can, see a live video feed. All right, let's see if this one will fit. This one is probably going to be a little clunkier. I have a feeling this is going to not be narrow enough. This one, I think, may be tricky. Let's see. Where are you getting hung up? Okay, part of the sleeve casing. Can use that fingernail trick to lower that just a tiny bit more. It really is that little piece of sleeve there that just did not want to go in. Okay, let's see if I can use the tool. There we go. Using the tool helps to push it into. All right. So now let's get the rest of this laid out. Red, we're going to put on the edge there. All right. And then white. Again, looking for that little fin that's there and putting it so it matches up with the arch there. All right, that's clipped in. Yellow, you're next. There we go, clipped in. Yellow or green, blue or purple. Purple, a little bit more on the purple side. And black. All right, so now with the project here, this will essentially connect here on this driver board, and then this one will go on this side. go. And next, I'll have to map which pins these go to. But this right here was just showing how you can make some of these cables that you can then move over and place. So this was just making cables that you could then take and have the connectors you need to connect various pins together, especially if you know one side is going to be in a certain order. These ones are going to be in very different locations. So we'll see what the final product ends up looking like. All right, thanks for joining.